cool. No worries.
Okay.
All right. So how's everything going tonight?
Doing good. How are you doing, brother? I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I know a lot of people are excited to have you here tonight.
I'm so excited to be here. It's been a long time coming, right? We both talked about this. We kind of started this journey together. I think you said you started October, November. We started our journey October, November. So kudos to your success. I'm proud of you. I'm proud to see what you have been able to build and create. So it's been like a little journey. Very proud of you and very excited to be here.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. And I know a bunch of, like I mentioned, the audience is excited to have you here as well tonight. They've been hearing a bunch about Bonnie and a bit about you as well. I think it's best to get started by sharing a bit about yourself. Maybe provide us a bit about, some of the opportunities that you've been through and just, a bit about your background and success.
Yeah, no problem. So obviously, you guys, my name is Jessica. I have been in the entertainment industry for almost about 15 years now. Graduated film school, worked in production, worked at news station, worked behind the scenes, Grammy, AI, worked for Bravo, I worked for BET. I mean, I have worked in the industry for a long time. And recently on this journey, I elevated, moved into the podcasting world, moved into the celebrity management world. So started my own production company, started managing talent, started doing, videography, directing, all that stuff like that. And I was blessed enough to just have everything elevated and things to really come along in a grand way. And so we're launching a bunch of stuff right now. I'm also working on an AI podcast. I actually shoot it. We're doing season 2. It comes out this summer where we teach our community, chat box, artificial intelligence. I go around to businesses and teach them chat box and AI, and we teach schools and stuff AI. So that's been a really cool experience. So yeah, that's just about it. I'm doing it all. I'm a jack of all trades basically now. So that's a little bit about myself.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. Now, also, I guess you are here because you manage Bonnie.
I do, yeah. So Bonnie and I are actually cousins. Our mothers, my mom and her mom are cousins, first cousins, grew up in San Diego, California. So she is actually related to me. I get that question a lot. Like, are y'all just cousins? Are cousins? Are you guys really cousins? We're really cousins, if that makes sense.
Awesome. So I just want to go back to the viewers for a second, let you guys know what we're expecting today on the interview. We will discuss with Jessica, the relationship with Bonnie and any kind of current celebrity status. Jessica's thoughts on the circus members. So there's going to be a lot of tea. And Bonnie's past current dramas. There's going to be a lot of questions that we're going to take from the viewers as well. So the question box is open. So go ahead and use that. Because we will be going through the question box throughout the interview. So if there's any burning questions that you do have for Jessica, now is the time, all right? Don't forget. Yes,
dun, dun,
sure.
dun. I'm excited to answer the fans' questions and to talk to you guys. I don't do a lot of interviews, and I've done a couple, and they went really well, and I think a lot of people got more clarity and a little bit more understanding, and it kind of connect the dots. So I'm excited to do it on this platform so I can answer questions for you guys to the best of my ability, of course.
Awesome, that sounds good. So tell us a bit about your relationship with Bonnie. Like, how did that come to be? And how would you explain her current celebrity status?
So again, she's my cousin. So I grew up with her. Bonnie grew up in foster care. And her mother had, I want to say 10 or 11 children. They all grew up in foster care, but one of them. So in the county of San Diego, they do a lot to keep the children together and try to keep them close to their family. So Bonnie was set up in a program kind of where she would get to visit us on holidays and we would get to see her. So we did grow up with her and a few other of her siblings. Some we didn't and we don't know, unfortunately. So I've just been big cousin. I'm her big cousin. We have a great relationship. I've always been there for her. I was aware when she started the whole journey in her music and all that stuff, but we were kind of on different paths. I was living in different states. So when I got when I started the production company and I had I was managing an NFL player. I was managing an NFL player. I was managing a couple other people. And I just thought to myself, like, where is Bonnie? Like, I remember she had this grand story on the Blueface Club. And I know it was during the pandemic and I remember watching her on there and I was just like, watching her like, oh my God, you go girl. Like, I'm so proud of you, and watching the show and following her, and then kind of didn't hear from her for a little bit and didn't hear anything. So I had reached out to her, I want to say, a little bit before October. And I'm just like, girlfriend, where are you? Like, what are you doing? How come you're not doing music? What's been going on? And so she just caught me up on her life and where she was. And I was like, I'm gonna help you. I said, I have, all this going on right now. I'm in a position now to reach out and help my family. And And I said, let me help you. Let me help you get to your dreams and get you to where you got to go, basically. So we just kind of been riding ever since. It wasn't an ideal situation to manage her because I was already doing a lot. It was just kind of to oversee things and kind of guide her in the right direction since I worked in the industry so long. And then it just kind of took off, and I kind of just had a full, invest into her journey and her career, if that makes sense.
No, that's good. I mean, it gives a lot of good insight. And I think, anybody who's thinking critically about the overall situation, it might be some good insight to have, right?
Totally, 100%. I think we see all these people online every day and we forget that everybody's human, right? And that we all go through stuff, and the internet is a matrix and it's a game, but after we log off, we get off and we have to deal with regular life, right? I work, Bonnie works, she has kids, she's going through a personal time right now. She just had a family member on hospice that passed away last night. So at the end of the day, we are human. We still go through everything you guys do. We're still, we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. Everybody will, to the day you die. And if anyone on here is saying you don't, that's not, realistic, and that's not life. The best thing you could do is wake up every day and try to do better and be a kind person and just try to get through life. We're all just trying to make it day by day, right? None of us have the answers. None of us really know.
Yeah, no, so I hear that. And, there's no doubt that it's been tough based on what you've explained with Bonnie's past, right? So it just makes me think, like, the circus is a mess, right?
Right, totally.
Why choose the circus, right? Now, you did mention that she's been in the circus. So give us your understanding of that. Why keep her in the circus? Why be part of this mess? And is this something or somewhere that Bonnie should be if she really is part of the circus?
So when we first started this journey, you look at the analytics of everything. You look at where she's been, her numbers, what she was able to do when she was with Blueface and Chrisean Rock, right? So when our team got together and we kind of studied everything, let me say this. We started this journey with Wack, right? We started this journey with reaching out to Blue's team, letting them know Bonnie was back, she's coming back. I'm going to be very transparent about this conversation. Wack has always had a really great relationship with Bonnie. He's always liked Bonnie a lot. And for some reason, he's always hated Chrisean, deathly. And I think he realized that her fans are kind of too tough and you can't really break that Chrisean army. So it's either get with the fucking program or kind of like, chill your ass down. So when we kind of started this journey and we're kind of telling them, we're about to bring Bonnie back up, she's doing her music again, she's ready. So before we came public and dropped the song and came out, we had been in the studio, we had been working, and he just kind of told us, like, it's going to be really difficult for you to, like, break through the Chrisean fans and to get through all of that. So he specifically has been helping us along the journey, and it just fit right in because she was already a part of it. She was there with Blue and Chrisean. I mean, she has a really great relationship with Blue, and then her and Chrisean's dynamic was really special too. That was like her little sister, and they were really close. So in the beginning of this journey, Chrisean did reach out to Bonnie. I'm not sure the specifics of really what happened with them, but it went left after that. But I feel like she was kind of reaching out to Bonnie to kind of see, test her temperature and see where angle she was coming from, right? As anyone would if you haven't spoken to someone in a long time. So when I first started this journey with her, I asked her, so tell me the whole story. What happened? Tell me what happened. Blueface, tell me everything. So she broke down the whole story, told me everything. And I think at the time we had started, probably a year prior, she was single. I think she was single at that time, yeah. But she was like, I still mess with Blue. Like, I still been dealing with him. And I'm like, you've been dealing with him all this time? And she's like, yeah, we just, we're not public. So I was always aware that they were still messing around, like, since I came back for the journey and everything like that. And I'm like, well, why are you here just messing with the guy and not getting anything out of it? How come he's not pushing you like he's pushing Chrisean and Jaidyn? Like, how come you're just in the background, like, the girl that's not doing nothing? That's weird to me. And then she just had all these broken promises and weird dreams that he would tell her. And, oh, okay, you're going to come up next. And I can't do this because I'm with Jaidyn. I can't do this because me and Rock got a show. There's always like an excuse, right? So, when we first started it, we were kind of trying to work with them and figure out how we could fit her in because Blue was working with her and he was, going to have her on his Zeus, the next rap superstar show coming up. So that's kind of why, if that answers your question, we entered back in the circus, but kind of pivoted, if that makes sense. I just told her that, like, I feel like you should do what you want to do. And so she just had like a revolution. She's like, I'm going to come out and I'm just going to tell people what's been going on and tell people about the relationship. So it's a shocker for everybody because you guys didn't know and he kept it so private, but we've always known that they were dealing around. So it's not really that intense for us,
But you
if
can
that makes sense.
see where people are a bit concerned, right? Because, you know, to them, it came out when Blue went in. So you can see that connection to where it builds a concern. And I would think you would
Well, what's the
appreciate.
concern? Because that's a strong word. A
I
concern is
got
you're worried,
concern's a
you
concern, but I
know?
guess concern on whether or not your claims about Bonnie and Blueface, you know, are a pair, or that they've been together or fooled around or whatever. All these things that are being claimed when it comes into connection with Blueface, right? You can see where, you know, some people feel the concern because they feel as if, you know, Blueface is not here to actually speak on that.
Well, I
But
feel
all
like
of a sudden,
Blueface has spoke a bunch of times. He's been recorded. He can say at any time, I don't mess with Bonnie. At any time. He could have said it. He talks to people on the phone. You guys have seen him make public statements. The reason he won't is because he did. And we know he did. And everyone
I
knows
mean, I
and
can
there's
agree
proof.
with that to an extent,
Right.
right?
So if
You
I
know,
didn't mess with her and I just wanted to dead it, I would just be like, I don't mess with this girl, you guys. I would
yeah.
dead
So,
it.
some people would argue, though, that, you know, some of these people that Blueface may have or may have not been with, you know, they're irrelevant. So they're not relevant enough for him to actually address. You know, it would be great to hear from Blueface about the issue, if it's real or if it's not real. I do want to kind of go back to, if it's okay, when you mentioned that Wack was helping you guys along the journey.
Right.
Now, I don't know if you said was helping or is helping, and maybe you can clarify that and perhaps provide us some insight on, you know, what that kind of help would be, if you can. Or,
Yeah, no
you know.
problem. No, Wack's a great guy. He's a marketing genius, as you guys know. But I just want to be mindful that Wack is like a personality. He's Blue's manager as well, but he's a personality, right? He's on No Jumper. He has his hands in a lot of different businesses and investing a lot of stuff. So when Blueface, you know, he has a team and he has people that you guys don't see or don't know. It's not just Bowdean and Wack. There's a whole team behind him: marketing directors, lawyers, attorneys, publicists that are not in the public eye that we deal with and we talk to, you know. So these characters that you see on the circus that are in the front, that's not the people who handle everything, if that makes sense. So like I said, Bonnie actually had a really good connection with Bowdean, you know, too. He was like a big uncle to her and they've always gotten along really well. It's very unfortunate to see how he's handled everything and that he's in, you know, shambles now. It's unfortunate, you know. We try to keep it cool with everybody and we try to just, you know, do our thing and stuff. And like I said, we just didn't fit with the program. We didn't listen to them. You know, she was always given instructions not to do this and do this. And, you know, and then when I came along and start helping her, it was just, you know, I don't take that shit. We'll do whatever we want to do.
So I guess you would take credit for Bonnie going rogue when it comes to, I guess, quote unquote, not listening to Blueface or not following, quote unquote, their plans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll take credit for her, but I definitely been in this industry for a long time and she respects my hustle, my grind, and stuff that I've been able to accomplish in life. And I had to really break it down for her how this works and how this game goes, you know. As I mentioned, the dynamics and how she grew up, I'm not sure why she wanted to listen to them. I'm not sure why she was willing to bow down and just to listen. Maybe the promise of all this stuff was like, you know, I'm better off just staying in line and letting him get to it versus coming out. But she was already getting traction and stuff was starting to happen. And like I said, looking at the analytics, it was go time. You don't have time. So, you know, like I said, they were working on having her. Our last big project, we met up with him the night before No Jumper. We had the No Jumper interview on January 4th. Blueface went into jail January 5th, right? So when I get to the hotel room, and I've told this story a million times, he was at the hotel room when I got there the night before No Jumper. And so we were all having a conversation. And he was telling Bonnie basically that he can't really represent her right now because I kind of pressed him. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to help her? You know, you guys are good friends. You're always saying you're going to help her. You're going to do this and you're giving her all these things to do. But like, you can change her life in one breath. You could say one thing about her and change her life. Let's be real, right? He was that popular and they're that much, you know, famous. And so he's like, yeah, you know, I really can't do that right now. I'm with Jaidyn and I'm promoting all this stuff. And then, you know, I really can't come out with her right now, but I'll help you. Like what I can do is get you on that rap show. And then, you know, we'll continue working on our songs and blah, 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 blah. So the next day he's supposed to go with us to No Jumper to kind of like help Bonnie do her thing, like tell her what she needs to do. And he doesn't show up. And we find out now that he had to turn himself in. He ended up going to jail and all that stuff like that. And so they had kind of something leading up. I told you they had been kind of helping us and we were kind of following their lead, and then just communication stops for a couple of days and then boom, it just comes out like him and Chrisean following each other and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, when they started following each other, he took the pictures down, she took the pictures down, they just start following each other. So I think Bonnie was really shocked when, you know, they started following each other and doing all that stuff. So that's when she immediately called Bowdean and was like, what the is going on? Like, you know, what is going on? And that's the two conversations that I recorded. The first time she talked to Bowdean, it was polite. It was like, hey girl, how you been? Like, you know, I saw they followed each other. Like, why are you mad? And she was just kind of like, well, what's going on? Like, he told me that they don't deal with each other. And he literally verbatim said, they're just doing it for clout. You know, he don't that girl. That's what he said. So still, Bonnie is like stringing along, you know, thinking everything's good. You know, they're talking, blah, 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 blah. So again, like, I don't know what. Bowdean said specifically that they're about to do a new show and that he needed the clout, or he needed to cross promote it, and that the network was concerned because he was with Jaidyn at the time and they had just proposed and did all this big stunt. And so he was telling us that in order for the network, you know, to appease the network, that Blue was going to, you know, make him and Chrisean look like they're dating again for the Crazy in Love 3.
I have a quick
So
question.
that's what we were told by the team. You get it? That's what they specifically told us. And so, you know, that's when the tattoo came and all this stuff started coming out. So I just think it was kind of hard to do from jail. You know, maybe he's been doing all these plays and going back and forth between the girls and doing all these amazing publicity stunts, but it hit different when he was in jail. It just didn't stick and it didn't hit, you know? And then Bonnie's out here running her mouth, telling all his business and just kind of interrupting what he had going on in the plays he had set up, right? So that's kind of where that dynamic came from, if that makes sense. It was just her being promised all these things, them being really good friends for years and always being there for each other. That's the thing about them. They're like a week apart. They're both the same age. They're very funny. They're very cute together. They're like really good friends. Like, think of a guy and a girl who are like best friends that just get along. That's how they are. Like, when I was watching them in the hotel, like, I was just like, you know, people in the dynamic, trying to just see the vibe and stuff, but they're cute. Like, they really are good friends. So I know he would call her and confide in her about a lot of stuff like that. And Bonnie was going through her own personal stuff, so she wasn't just in the limelight like that. She was doing other stuff. So if anything, I think that, you know, the friendship is what she loves out of it. And she loves that he's always there for her and that he's always been really kind to her and has helped her financially and has a good relationship with her son and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know if necessarily, like, you know, Bonnie did it on purpose to hurt him or try to mess up his money or anything like that. It was just kind of her coming out and telling what's been going on and that she's living in her truth. It's hard to accept because I don't think anyone expected her to come back like that or for her to just start dropping gems and telling everyone what was happening. But, you know, it kind of is what it is.
All right, cool. Well, that was a lot. So now, you know, from based on everything you said, it sounds as if, you know, they were really good friends. Now, it also sounds as if because Blueface going back to jail, that's what really caused the panic, right? Now, you find out he's going to jail. You're saying to Bonnie, okay, let's go rogue, I guess. I don't know if that's the word we're using, right?
No, I wouldn't say go rogue. Like, it's her truth. It's her relationship. You know, it's what she's going through. She has a right to speak on it. When you say relationship,
are you talking about the friends with benefit, like best friendship that you spoke about, or what are we referring to?
Specifically about what? Like the rogue comment?
Say relationship. I just want to make sure. Are you saying that they were in a relationship or were they in a best friend type of friend?
No, they were messing around for sure, for sure. They've messed around the whole time, but what I was trying to explain to you is that they have a really good friendship. They always connected and they always have been really good friends. Blueface deals with a lot of girls and he goes in and out of relationships and they're very open-minded. And Bonnie, they've been together and still mess with other people, or she doesn't mind or she doesn't care. You might mind, the viewers might mind, but she really doesn't mind. She likes girls too. Everybody knows that Bonnie's gay. So she's just a little more open-minded and free-spirited than most people, I would say. But yeah, they were definitely messing around and definitely, you know, in a relationship for sure. But she was aware of Jaidyn. She's aware of everybody. She knew about everything. She just wasn't public about it or never told anybody what was going on. But he had came down to San Diego a bunch of times to see her. They were actively messing around for sure for like a good, I want to say like year or two prior, for sure, when they start reconnecting.
Okay. I want to confirm something with you because, you know, when you guys say that a lot and Bonnie's made these claims, you seem quite confident with it, right? So what I'm trying to understand, do you have you know, examples and receipts for this and you guys just feel that you don't have to provide it and it's just something that's personal and you're holding on to it? Because at this time, it seems like Bonnie's getting a lot of smoke because of, you know, all of the information that's being claimed, but nothing to really back it up with.
Yeah, I feel like she doesn't have to show receipts. I feel like everyone on social media, you could do what you want to do, you know? That's personal things, that's relationships, pregnancies. We're talking about things that are personal to a woman. And I feel like if she wants to show it, she will. You know, she doesn't go to Target to look for baby clothes and be like, oh my God, I have to save the receipt for Bluerock. That's insane, you know? We don't wake up every
But
day
she
collecting
should.
receipts for the
Right.
internet. That's just unrealistic, right? So it just depends on the person. Some celebrities overshare; they do too much, where we're like, "Oh, I didn't need to see your Pap smear." And some celebrities are very quiet and they're very discreet. And so that's her prerogative whether she wants to show you guys or not. And if she doesn't, you have to respect that too. Beyonce don't be showing y'all everything. Other celebrities don't be showing y'all everything. So it's like very much so. If people don't want to do that, they don't have to. And just like you don't have to follow, you don't have to like, you don't have to whatever. We all have choices, right?
No, I hear that. I guess it's just when you become a circus act and you're part of the
Mm-hmm.
circus, I think one thing that you might, or maybe Bonnie might want to take in consideration is that receipts is a big part of it, right? So, just speaking about it, the viewers is somewhat a big audience of the circus, right? And when one thing that they do ask for or that they do expect is a receipt. Other than that, the play
Well,
on the
I digress, and I don't really agree with that because I feel like you've gotten a bunch of receipts that haven't been valid, or I've seen things that you posted that weren't real, and you didn't deep dive enough and get the proper receipts for that. So it's like if we're really gonna get receipts and we're really gonna go there, like let's make sure they're real, right? Like the email
sure.
to
So did you
Nikki,
want
for
to provide an
example.
example
Yeah,
of
the
one of
email
those?
to Nikki that Nikki came out with, I didn't email her that. That's not our conversation. That was made up. And my email's been the same for 15 years, and everybody who's worked with me knows that. So that's something you didn't clarify, fact check. You could have made one phone call. You could have even looked on my page and got
Can
it.
I just say
And so you ran
one
that
thing about that?
story.
Can I say one thing
Mm-hmm.
about that, Jessica? Right. So
Mm-hmm.
we ran that story. We did run it as an allegation, right? The thing that you did the very next day is you went live and you admitted to it. You admitted that you reached out to her,
I
right?
did
So
reach out to her, but that wasn't my message, is what I'm
no,
saying.
and I get that, but one thing that you do need to understand is when we run stories, we run allegations as well. And with those allegations, it sometimes gets the circus members to step up in front, and it sometimes allows the members to say things that we're hoping that they're going to say,
Yeah. Oh,
right? So when you
yes.
turned around and you reacted the way you did, I mean, I think Bluerock TV did a job well done.
Right.
So I just want to put
Well, that's your
there, right?
opinion, and I
No,
respect
no,
it.
of
You know, I
course,
love your page so
100%.
much, but I think we just have a different opinion on that. I'm a little older and I'm a little old school. When I was coming up in the industry, we didn't ask people for receipts. If you're an investigative journalism, that's your job to to do the investigation and get your own receipts. You know, when Bonnie got the tattoo, TMZ called the tattoo shop and spoke to the owner and got the receipts. TMZ didn't call us for the receipts. It's not our job to provide them. If you're an investigative journalist, I feel like that's your job to get them. You know, so that's kind of my stance on it. That's why when you ask me for stuff, I don't really give it to you, or I don't, you know, you asked about Nikki's her cease and desist she sent. In what world will I ever show you any court paper or anything with our name or anything on it? I think it's kind of delusional for blogs to ask for receipts. I know this whole like narrative of, oh, I got receipts, oh girl, I'm the one with receipts, like, you know, is a big thing now, but to me it's not appropriate. And that's just the way I came up, and that's the way I run my team, and that's the way we do stuff. And like I said, everyone has the right, you know, whether you don't like that we don't give receipts or not, or you're not feeling it, you do you, boo, right? So
I
that's
heard
just the
that. And one
stance
thing
on
that
it.
was important is you did say that you're a bit old school, right? So we do follow a lot of new school practices. We do
Right.
get things done. We are
Mm-hmm.
one to know that we do get down to the receipts, whether or not you give it to us or we get you to jump out and say it on a live out of haste or whatever that
Right.
be, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I respect your opinions and I'm pretty sure you respect mine as well. But at the end of the
100%.
day, TMZ does what TMZ does. They're a lot bigger than us, and we're not going to sit here and expect or act as if we can, compete against TMZ. If TMZ wants to call Bonnie and offer $1,000 or whatever that might be allegedly, right, to get that tattoo or to get the idea of whether or not that tattoo is real, that's entirely up to them, right? But again,
Mm-hmm.
as Rock TV, we might look at you, Jessica, and say, where's the receipt on that? Because we have no proof that TMZ even spoke to you about that, right?
I
Or
didn't say
maybe we
TMZ
do.
spoke to me. I said TMZ called the tattoo shop and confirmed the
Yeah.
tattoo.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so either way,
Mm-hmm.
we would have to look into that. We would have to see what receipts are there because that's just what we do. Unfortunately, the viewers nor anybody just expects us to take your word for it. And I
Mm-hmm.
apologize about that. But again, today we're here to have your word, right?
Right.
And we're here to ensure that that word gives the viewers a bit more insight on things that they might be questioning.
Yeah. just some things that have to be learned. And I feel like on both ends with everybody. So it's no shade to your platform or anything like that. I tell you all the time, like, I love you and you're doing a really good job. But in my opinion and how I came up in the industry, it's done very differently, or was, right? But I necessarily need to adjust to the new generation too, right? I constantly have a battle with Bonnie where she wants to do something one way and I'm not feeling it, but then it ends up working out grand. And I'm just like, oh my God, like these kids today are really different. So I understand that as well. So I just wanted to explain that to you. It's not necessarily shade. I just think fair is fair. We're all members of the circus. If you ask us for receipts, like everybody needs to have receipts too.
No, no,
You had
and I get
you
it.
had Blueface's brother on there. Didn't ask him for a goddamn receipt. Just let him rant on there for a good, like, whatever. So it's like, you guys cannot be receipts, receipts, receipts. And then other people get on there and you don't ask them. It just is, it's mind boggling to me. So that's my opinion on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for your question, Bluerock.
No, but I just want to clarify. Blueface's brother, that's his brother, right?
Right.
We do have things that we're working on in the end that I don't really need to discuss right now either. But at the end, that's his brother, right? We're talking about Bonnie, who's been a BGC girl for how many years ago, and all of a sudden coming back to the scene when Blueface allegedly can't speak up for himself, so on, so on, so forth, right? So we all know why we're here, you know.
For sure. And I
Now,
think it's necessarily, my opinion on that is Blue's not close with his family. It's a sad analogy, and I think we've all seen it. He's not really close with his mom. He's not really close with his brothers and stuff like that. So really, some people are closer to him. Chrisean's closer to him than his brother is. Bonnie's closer to him than his brother is. And if you really know the players and you really know the dynamics, you guys would know that he really doesn't come around like that. They're not that close.
we do know that, but I mean, you know, all fairness, they want to hear more from Blueface's brother, right? So we're going to give him an opportunity to speak his voice. When the viewers ask for receipts, or when the viewers are concerned for receipts, Bluerock TTV will look into that and see what else more we can find out. Just like Bonnie, we ran stuff. Bonnie said right away, viewers asked for receipts. Right away, we asked you for receipts. Right. It's just the way the circus game runs. You know what I'm saying? It's the way it's been. So I don't know how else to pretty much explain it to you, but
oh, no, I understand it. We've had this
I'm going to say
before.
Receipts nonstop. Like, we're going to ask for receipts nonstop. It does not matter what you guys say. They're going to be receipts, 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 receipts. You know, this is the game we play, right? Yeah. When you come online and you're doing a live and you're trying to get up close and personal with your audience, they want proof. Mm-hmm. They want to know that what you are saying has some kind of, you know, validity to it, right? So at the end of the day, that's what they're looking for. So forgive me if you might not get why people are like, where are the receipts? Where are the receipts?
Oh, no,
some
I
people watching the show
I
is very concerned.
Very clearly and very well. I don't not understand it. That's not my point of reference. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just specifically talking about the point where you ask certain people for receipts and don't ask other people's. I understand the dynamics of fans wanting receipts. I understand that people follow the circus
make it clear that we do ask everybody for receipts. We ask everybody for receipts. You're not in my DM, Jessica, but to be honest and to be fair, we ask everybody for receipts. We get receipts. We don't make any claim. We don't say anything. You guys are the ones that speak. We just report on what you put down, right? That's all we're picking up. So what we do when we ask for receipts, we're hoping to help your story. It's not our story. Dan,
it's no shade. It's an observation that I've made with your platform, and I've talked to you about that. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm not going to say something I wouldn't say to you behind closed doors, right? That is the issue, and so that's the concern. But like I said, I understand everything and everything behind it. I don't agree with it. You'll never get receipts from me. We live our life day to day. We do what we got to do. You know, we have a lot of great opportunities coming up, and I'm so proud of Bonnie. And honey, if you think we have time to give you receipts every day, you guys are sadly mistaken. So I don't know what the impression or, you know, the what it is, but that's not how we live our life. Like, we don't.
No, and I get that. And I think, and I think at this point, the audience understands that from your team, right? And I appreciate you going through the conversation of that. But it's been proven in your actions as well that we're not going to get receipts. We're just going to have to take the words and hopefully, you know, as
that's not necessarily true. We post kind of what we want. If we feel like it needs to go out or we want to post it, we will. Just like you post what you want every day. Like, everybody has their own agenda and their own prerogative. So, you know, we do post stuff we want to post. You know, we post certain things, but if we don't post things too, that's okay too. And it's no shade. I'm not being difficult. I'm not what. It's just we do things differently. We come from different, you know, different generations, if that makes sense. Yeah.
And it's good to share the insight back and forth just so we can kind of get where everybody's coming from. You know what I mean? Yes, so 100%. One thing, can you see the question on the screen? Yeah, she wants to know if Wack is going to be Bonnie's manager.
I'm Bonnie's manager right now. Ryder. Thank you for the question. Yeah, I'm Bonnie's manager right now. Our contract that we have with each other, which I start all my clients out with, it's like a year contract, you know. We'll reconvene in a year to see how we're doing in our progress. And, you know, my plan is to take her to the top and then let her do her thing, you know. That's, you know, my dream for all my clients is to, you know, get them in a really good place and have them be able to elevate their careers and take off. So, no, Wack's not her manager, just a friend and like a mentor. That's about it. Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. That's good to know. I don't know if maybe they were just wondering because, you know, you guys share a lot of journeys, like you said in the past, and you know, perhaps share a lot of insights. So maybe they're wondering if there's going to be a collaboration or if Wack really wants to, you know,
You
like
know,
is he
I
really
hear that
like how
narrative too.
involved is he?
A lot of people will be like, Wack hates Chrisean. He's gonna do anything he wants to bring people in and kind of hurt Chrisean. I think Wack at the end of the day is like a businessman, and Blueface is his main client that brings in the most income around the board. So I think he's gonna do what's in his client's best interest, right? At the end of the day. So you know, he's very transparent. He explained that to us and explained everything like that. That's not Bonnie's manager and that's not her family. That's not her teammate. They have nothing to do with us. They've worked with us off the strength of the connection that they've had with Bonnie and the connection she was able to make when she was in the BGC house. So, you know, it's just, you know, we know that the BGC episodes are going to start being in syndication again with Ray J's Tronic Network, you know, so stuff like that he'll call us and let us know about because, you know, that's a big opportunity for the girls who were on the show that didn't get the clout as much as they wanted to because as you remember, it was during the pandemic. So I think the show first aired on OnlyFans, if I'm correct, and a lot of the public didn't get to see necessarily the show. So, you know, we get insights like that, tidbits, you know, he helped her with the That's My Daddy song and stuff like that. So he's very busy, has a lot going on. He has had his hands on a lot of stuff for sure, but he's been very supportive of her and wants to see her win for sure. Very, very, very nice person to us for sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks for clarifying that again. Thoughts on the members in the circus, and right now you guys we're leaving it free for Jessica to speak about, you know, whichever circus member. Now we would ask that we don't speak about the children, not Bonnie's, not anybody's. Yeah. So if you guys are submitting questions right now in regards to any of the children, we're not going to ask them. We're not asking any questions about Bonnie's kids. We're not asking any questions about Rock's or anybody's children. Okay, Jaidyn's, nobody.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, Jessica, we're ready.
Yeah, Jess, we're ready. Okay, so my opinions, I just want to start out by saying this. I have no skin in the game. I have no beef with anybody in the circus. I'm fans of everybody, you guys. I'm just like you. I have a job to do. Blueface to me is a marketing genius. This man is so smart to me. I love what he's been able to do. I love just the business strategies and the deals that he has made. I think he's been able to do something that a lot of people haven't gotten and to do effortlessly, which is switching back and forth with women and being able to make money off of them and having different relationships and situations, having the girls come together. I think he's very smart, kind of like a king complex thing. And I just think it's interesting. I think he's a very nice guy. I said that to everybody. He's always been very polite and respectful to me. I have no ill will about him. He's treated Bonnie very nice and he's very smart, very funny, and a really kind person. So I don't have anything bad to say about him. Really, he's done a lot for Bonnie and I appreciate that. And I appreciate him being there for her and, you know, speaking life into my cousin. So I have no issue with Blue. You know, I stay out of Bonnie's relationships and business because at the end of the day, she's a grown woman. This woman has her own house, a child, has given birth. Like, this is a grown adult. I think he's a good guy. I think he's very smart, and I think he's going to go far in this industry, even further than he's gone, for sure.
Awesome. Well, that's a good insight. I mean, a lot of people do probably would agree with you about Blueface being a marketing genius, right? One question that we have here from someone, and basically the question is, Wack said Blue only calls for people, so is Bonnie lying? So maybe you can provide some insight.
Bonnie and Blue talk. Like I kind of mentioned to you when we started this journey, and Wack and a few of the team members that I won't mention told us really bluntly that, you know, they can help Bonnie in certain ways, but in certain ways they can't. And they were very clear. You know, Bowdean told us on the phone that you try to come out and say that you're not messing with Blue, we will deny you. We will say everything. We will go against you because that doesn't mean what we're trying to do. Like, Bonnie, you're messing up his money, right?
No, I hear that. Another question that a viewer had, J Money the Hitman, they are wondering if Bonnie has ever visited Blueface in jail.
I think she has.
She has.
She's
Okay, you
either
guys.
visited him in jail or she's been down there to visit him and put money on his books or do something like that.
Yeah, I remember
But she has
the
visited him
money
in
on the books
jail.
for. Yeah,
Hmm.
I do remember that. Okay, so that was two questions about Blueface there. If you want to go ahead, you can tell us about another circus member that you have an opinion on.
Okay, we'll start with Chrisean, I guess, next. It's only right. I like Chrisean. I think she's very talented. And, you know, when Bonnie speaks about her and talks about her come up in her trials and tribulations she went through, it's a lot of parallels and a lot of similarities to Bonnie's. I love how she's been able to break the mold, right? And to be successful. She has a good head on her shoulder and she just needs support too. I feel like it's back to the support thing and having the right type of people to guide you and to help you, you know. So I think, you know, I think a lot of the stuff that she does is so warranted in Blueface. I wish she would be more to herself. Like I feel like if I was managing her, I'd have her performing at the Super Bowl, I'd have her in movies, I'd have her doing a lot of stuff. She's very marketable right now. She's very marketable and she can go really far and she could be doing stuff that's really out of the box and running up a real big bag. With the analytics she has. And so it's kind of disappointing for me to see a woman with that much potential to, you know, when a man goes to jail, like you're kind of quiet and kind of idle when, you know, you can really be setting you and your son's self up to never have to work again and making sure his and his kids don't have to work again, because with the way she's going in her talent, she can very much do that and do that in like 6 months if she wanted to, right? So, you know, I pray for her. Like I said, she's a young Black woman and I have no skin in the game. I don't know her like that. And I'm never going to wish ill will on anybody. I'm proud of everyone in this journey and I'm proud of everyone for even being in this circus and trying to fight it every day. It's not easy, right? But I explained to you before, like we don't walk in fear. You know, the Bible says you fear nobody but God. So we wake up every day, we fear nobody. We go into every building, every room with our head held high, ready to dominate and to take over and to be appreciative, humble, and work hard. So you know, yeah, to answer your question, I think she's very talented, funny, and she has a great head on her shoulder. And I'm excited about her future, and I hope to see her in better lights for sure.
Now, one thing I wanted to bring up here, a question that one of the viewers have, Hennasey Reviews.
Hey, hey, girlfriend.
So who came up with the smear campaign for Chrisean?
Is that Henny's question?
That is Henny's
Oh,
question.
okay.
Yeah. So who came up
So
with the smear
Henny,
campaign?
honestly, like I said, Chrisean and Bonnie talked when we first started this thing. And I don't know what was said and I don't know what happened between them, but it didn't start off bad. I think they started off talking and all this stuff like that. And I don't know what happened. I think fans started sending her pictures of her pointing the gun at her son and all this stuff. And it went left. Like, I don't know. I don't necessarily think she came out, Chrisean. If you guys watched my early interview, because when we first did this journey, I did an episode of Jessica West Side Stories and I did an in-depth interview with Bonnie, and she clear as day had no problem with anybody. She was like, no, it's cool. I'm, you know, doing my stuff. So from that point A to, you know, whatever, there was phone calls and conversations had, and it didn't go good. So I don't know what was said. I don't know if she found out about Bonnie and Blue or didn't know about it prior. I don't know. But somewhere along the line, there was a disconnect, and now it was shade being thrown. Now it was a little this here and this, and we're hearing other stuff from people. And, you know, specifically, we heard from Shade Room, they wanted to do an interview with Bonnie, and then, you know, heard stuff like, oh, yeah, Chrisean called us, told us not to do interviews with you. And so I don't know if she was necessarily targeting Chrisean or trying to come for her. That was just some stuff that happened that made them start beefing 100%.
All right. So did you want to go ahead and move into the next circus member? Talk a bit
Who would be the next
more about
circus
this one.
member? I think Miss Karlissa. I'll go with her. I think she's hilarious. I really love what she's been able to do with her career, and you know how she's kind of in the circus and in the spotlight. I'm not going to talk anybody bad about anybody's mom. That's not how we were raised, and we respect our elders and stuff. But I think she's great. I think she's so funny and she's entertaining, and I'm excited to see what she's able to do after this and with all the clout and attention she's getting. I think it makes sense, and she's a star. And Blueface has a lot of like talented people in his family, and it works for them, you know. I know a lot of people don't agree with how she talks to her children and all this stuff and putting their business out there. Again, to each his own. I try not to judge people and stuff like that. We don't take her serious, you know. We're polite to her. One day she hates Bonnie, the next day she loves her, next day she hates her. So we kind of leave Miss Karlissa out of it, you know. But
I mean, I hear that with you. Back in the day, I used to think Karlissa is pretty funny. If there was one thing that you would say Karlissa could do better right now, what would you say that is? Like being a manager, being someone who manages people in the limelight, or Bonnie, What would you say if you were to provide that type of advice to Karlissa at this time, knowing what you know that she's going through?
My only advice would not be negative in any way, would just be like maybe filter and go towards some more age appropriate stuff and then really go off, you know?
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. There was another question that we had here about, and this is just coming from us here at Bluerock, because, like you said, we post things, we ask things, and we kind of just want to know things. So the question became, if Bonnie's pregnant, but then it became, if Bonnie's pregnant, is she pregnant with Blueface's baby, right? And then this whole topic of a San Diego man came up. Do you have any comment about that? Did Bonnie give you any comment about that you can share?
Yeah, I think you guys actually ran that San Diego guy story from Face by Nikki. I think she dropped that little tidbit in her last live with you guys. But Nikki doesn't know shit. She doesn't know Bonnie. She doesn't know anything. And she doesn't know, any of Bonnie's friends. Everybody knows that Bonnie's bisexual and that she deals with women. So it doesn't even make sense. Like when she's trying to pull that Mr. San Diego thing, we're just like, girl, bye. Because everyone who knows Bonnie knows she's only messed with her baby daddy, who she has her son Armani with, and then with Blueface. So other than that, she's had relationships with women. All her relationships have been with women. So I don't know where that came from. I think it came from Nikki, but like I said, Nikki doesn't know us or know anyone she deals with. And so I would never know how she would even think that. I think she just made it up, So yeah, that's the thing on that. I don't know where that Mr. San Diego thing came from. There's no room for confusion or talk or debate. You get it? She deals with women. Everyone knows that mostly. And so even the idea of there being a Mr., right? If Nikki would have said there's a Miss San Diego or something, we would have believed it more, because it's that prevalent. Anyone who knows Bonnie, the fans follow her journey.
But I think the only reason why we're thinking of Mr. is because Bonnie's pregnant, right? So I think that's where we're kind of
right. But her only dealings have been with Blueface, so there's no Mr. nothing,
Yes, I heard that. Okay, cool. So right now you're saying if Bonnie's pregnant according to you.
I didn't say
and
Bonnie was pregnant. First of all.
Sorry. So sorry, I just thought that was you guys' position. So I guess I'll clarify that. So if Bonnie is pregnant, then you are taking a position, and Bonnie's taking the position that it is Blueface's baby, and there's no other possibility. Okay.
The last person, I will say this, and Bonnie has said this, so I feel kind of okay with saying it, is the last person she had sexual contact with was Blueface the night before No Jumper, and that was January 4th. So she's taken a couple tests. She's taken one that came out positive, one that came out negative, and then we're supposed to go on March 4th, but we had to push it back for the podcast we did in Atlanta. We just got back this week from the Atlanta thing, our LA trip. And so, my thoughts about that is I am very proud of Bonnie, and I think she's on an amazing journey. Being pregnant would just, that's a lot. That's a lot, and I'm not going to ever say that I would want her to abort the baby or do anything like that, but it's really unexpected, and it just throws a wrench into everything like we got going on, and anything I even expected. Like my mind cannot wrap my head around that idea, you know what I mean? Because we just are on this great path, and she's doing so good, and everything's starting to blow up. And I know there's many women, Sexy Red, Cardi B, that are still able to pivot through the industry with pregnancies and stuff like that. So I'm aware that it could be done, but it's very unexpected and kind of hard for me to digest when we've done so great and have all these great opportunities come in, are making so much money now. It's kind of like, damn, girl, like you really gonna just, it's a lot to digest. And so I don't want to say anything negative, and I could just be transparent with you and tell you how I really feel about it. It's a mess. Like that's all I can really say. It's no shade. It's just like, wow. But everyone in the circus has free will. Like I said, Jaidyn puts up with it, Chrisean puts up with it, Bonnie puts up with it. I mean, all these women, we've all questioned their morals, their standards, and they've all, put up with it. So it's interesting, right? But at the end of the day, like I can never just tell her what to do. I just got to be there to support her. You know what I mean? Whatever she wants to do, that's what your family does. We ride, right? We ride at dawn.
I wanted to ask you a question.
Okay.
Now you may have the answer to this. You may have the answer to this, but if given the chance to be friends and forget their beef, do you think Bonnie would do that?
If given the chance to be friends and forget their beef, is that what you said?
Do you think Bonnie would do that?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think, you know, like I said, she's human. That was someone that was her friend and they got along really well. You know, when Blue signed them, he's kind of like, I want you guys to be sisters. You know, you guys are going to stay in this house and make a bunch of content and, you know, you guys are going to have each other's back. So, you know, they were forced to build a bond. I know Bonnie's son spent time in the house and Chrisean really bonded with him. And Chrisean's a good person, Bonnie said. She's not a bad person. So I stay out of their little beef. That dynamic is between them. That's not my issue. And I feel like it can be worked out. And I feel like it's petty and it's internet shit. It's weird shit and stuff that doesn't even matter. And I think the connection that they had made in the house and that sisterhood is way stronger than any of this bullshit. You know, so I feel like I really do. That's a good question. I really do feel like there will be a day when they'll come together and things will be better. And I want that for them. You know, I really do. I think that would be epic and grand, and that would be great if they could do that for sure.
Thanks for answering that. That's interesting. Now, any other circus members that you wanted to touch base on, or that you wanted to speak about?
Who else is in the circus? Jaidyn. Yeah, Jaidyn, you know, she's really pretty. I want to start by saying that. When we went to the club in San Diego, she's a doll. Like, she was the cutest little thing. Then I didn't know she was like that cute. I don't know, TV, you know, makes you 10 pounds, right? But she's really tiny and super cute. And I was just like, I don't know, you see someone in person and you know, you kind of have like a different thought about them. But I just feel like that girl has been through a lot and I feel like she's not really going anywhere. I know she's been with Blue since they were in high school and that's kind of his, you know, high school sweetheart or whatever. And it's really hard to navigate in this industry dealing with a guy like that. I'm really proud of her for coming out with her own music, getting a hit single and being able to like do her own thing, you know? But yeah, again, I have no ill will. I mean, it's a lot to deal with. So I don't even want to, you know, add anything to anybody's plate, right? I do like her and I do like her music. And so I'm rooting for her too, definitely.
Okay, and that's interesting because based on what you said, it kind of made me think about something.
Right.
Who do you think Blueface will be going home to?
All of them,
That's
everybody. Shit, my
what I was
mom,
thinking.
my
That's what you were
mom's, no, I'm
saying. That's
kidding.
what I thought you were saying.
Going on to my mama. No, I think they all deal with him. I think they all know their role and they all play a piece in his life and they're goddamn sister wives and they're all gonna be intertwined. And Blue knows they're not going nowhere, so he's just gonna get clout off of all of them, move this one, move that one, move the chess piece. I think he just, you know, did really good at that and he's able to go back and forth. I mean, before Chrisean came to Blue was, you know, let's be analytic about this and let's look at the numbers, right? And this is statistics. His albums weren't selling as high, right? He wasn't touring that much, and then the pandemic hits, and as we know, actors, people who went on tour, they all had to subside. Their business were all shut down, right? Global pandemic. So it was genius of him to start the BGC, you know, and I think that him seeing the star power in Chrisean, it really, you know, he's seen that. That's hard. That was hard to see that potential and the star in her, but he saw it, you know, he took her to another level and elevated it. But I think she definitely brought this new entertainment field to him. He had the music on lock, but then she took him to levels that he didn't even know he can go, or that the money he didn't even know he can reach, right? So I think that he, as long as these women are willing to be a part of his life and as long as they're willing to deal with him, like I said, he's a great guy. He's very funny. He's cool to be around. Everything is perfect besides the relationship dynamic of the switching between the women and hurting their hearts and their feelings and hurting the kid and all this stuff like that. So the person is great. The person is great, but the behavior probably doesn't match up with what the ideal for them would be, right?
No, I hear that, and I appreciate that. Right. Now let's go to some questions from the viewers because
Okay.
I know they've got a lot of questions here. Voice 2, they have a question. Why has Bonnie's only road to success been paved off the hate train of Chrisean?
Cool. To answer your question, I don't think Bonnie's success has come, you know, from the hate train of Chrisean. I think that's just part of the circus. They're beefing right now. They're trolling each other. They're doing the most. I mean, you guys, it's a goddamn circus. That's why we call it a circus. A circus is acts running wild, running amok, hanging from ceilings, elephants doing this, people flipping off mid, clowns jiggling. That's the definition of a circus. So it's like, holy shit, it's supposed to get wild and it gets crazy. That's why Blue and everyone refers to it as that. That shit ain't sweet. People who are in it, they know that it's very hard and it's not easy. I mean, we get hate every single goddamn day. I have paragraphs in my DMs of people every day, like religiously. It's insane. So I don't necessarily think Bonnie's fame is derivative from the Chrisean beef, if that makes sense. I think it's a little bit of everything in the circus, if that makes sense.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have another question from CDog06. Do you think Bonnie will get any public appearances with Blue when he gets out?
I don't know. Bonnie and Blue still talk and have a good relationship. And I just think he was very shocked that Bonnie was able to pull all this off and she was able to kind of climb in the limelight without his help, because this is what we've been able to do. He told her to stay idle, chill, I got you. When I got you, you're gonna sit back, and watch me bring everybody out. When I'm ready, I'll come for you. And she's been able to do it on her own. And I think none of them were ready for that. I think they doubted my cousin. And I think that, they thought she was just going to sit there and listen. I mean, we've heard Bowdean. We just saw a clip of when the house was robbed and Chrisean and all that stuff like that. And Bowdean talking to Chrisean on the phone, so disrespectful. You're not listening. If you listen, I mean, the way they talk to women is insane, right? So it's like, yeah, we weren't having any of that. I said, you can do all this by yourself. You can do all this. You don't need them. I'll help you. Let me show you how you do it, girlfriend. So I think he's mad at her. I think he was mad at her in the beginning for sure. I don't think he is anymore, because obviously the situation at hand and what's going on, with their personal life and stuff like that. Obviously he's not. And he's a really good dad. I do know that about him. He does take stuff like that very serious. So I'm not sure. I think that very much so he knows the allureness of keeping an open mind, right? We talked about this. You ask for the receipts, and all this stuff. For him to just sit there and let the masses wonder whether the baby is his or not is way more marketable than letting you guys know. For you guys to sit here and wonder if Bonnie's with him or not is way more marketing than him just coming out and telling you guys. You get it? So
I
it's
agree with
like,
that 100%.
huh?
I said I agree with that statement, right? And it is true, right?
So
Sometimes.
this is the name of the game. It's the entertainment industry. A lot of stuff is faked. A lot of stuff is publicity. A lot of stuff is stunts. A lot of stuff is everything. So, the people that get it. You don't got to really explain, but the people that don't, that's why we make money off of you guys, and that's why we're able to advance in this industry, is because, the blur of reality and the blur of the matrix is together for you guys. It's not separate. And us who are in it, who work this as a business, we very much know the difference between the two, if that makes sense.
Now, there's always burning questions about Bonnie's OnlyFans.
Okay.
Right? I saw some things floating around on, showing Bonnie nude, or not really nude. They had their little stickers in the places that it needs to be, right?
Okay, yeah.
It created questions from the viewers to us, and we don't really run these things, but they did want to know.
You guys, Bonnie grew up being a gymnast, a dancer, a professional dancer. She's worked in clubs, she's done everything, and so like she's not body shamed. Like she walks around the house naked, and she's very comfortable with her body. But those pictures that I have seen, I don't necessarily know if they're from the OnlyFans. She doesn't care about that. You can see her nude, she'll walk in front of you nude. That's not a ooh to her. But she doesn't give a shit about the nude ones. And they're not from her OnlyFans. Her OnlyFans is a lot of different content, a lot of cool stuff, and a lot of different stuff. So it's not necessarily it's not even nude porn stuff at all. But I will talk a little bit. Let's continue about the people I think I do want to speak about Bowdean, because it was very interesting how that dynamic between Bonnie and him changed, and how bad it got and how low it got. And I did kind of want to speak on that. And when I say this, you guys, Bonnie's mom has talked to Bowdean. He's talked to different people on our team. We've had many conversations after all this stuff happened regarding the leaked addresses and leaked messages and stuff, but like I said, he started off as like a mentor to Bonnie. Bonnie would always tell me that when she did leave the Blueface house and she was getting all her stuff in order, he'd always hit her up like, oh my God, like if you ever need anything, you and your son can stay with me. Like she always spoke very highly of him. And even to me, she would always be like, oh my God, Bowdean was so sweet. So again, like they built their relationship and they just have always been really cool. So the day that Bonnie like came out and told everyone about the relationship, like I said, the first time he spoke to her, it was like, I know why you're calling, Bonnie, because you saw Blue and Rock follow each other. I know you're concerned. Don't worry, they're not together. They're just trying to promote the show. That was the first conversation, pleasant. Then Bonnie, starts talking, starts telling everybody everything. We're messing up the money. Blue can no longer promote the show because, now Bonnie's involved, and, he told us that the Jaidyn relationship thing with the lesbian girl was fake, and that was just so, you know, they can get people to believe that Jaidyn was dating somebody else, and stuff like that. So, you know, the second conversation I recorded, I put it out. I know people heard it, and you know, he was just basically telling Bonnie, like, you need to just wait and listen. Like, you're not supposed to be telling people that you guys are together. That's nobody's business. Blue doesn't like people like that. He gives you direction, like, da 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 da. And so, like I said, Bonnie didn't stop. She didn't listen. She just kept doing what she wanted to do. So it just got progressively like weird and stalkerish and just like crazy. And, you know, people have talked to him and just been like, you're a grown ass man, bro. You're like 50 years old. Why are you worried about what some 20-year-old girl is doing with her cooch? You know, like, get over it, right? Like, she can do what she wants to do. If she says what she says, like, she says what she says. But I think, you know, what happened was Blue left it in Bowdean's hands to take care of his phone and to post for him and to do all the stuff he needed to do. And I just, like I said, I don't think they thought Bonnie was going to be able to do what she's been able to do. So I know Bowdean really got like cussed out from Blue and you know, was told you're doing a horrible job, and you know, I can't control Bonnie. Like, she went, you know, as you say, rogue. You know, she's not listening no more. And so I think the frustration of having his team keep telling him he was doing such a bad job, and that how is this girl getting past everybody, and what's going on, and da da da, and it just like really got to him and really got overwhelming, and I mean, it made him look really bad. I think the frustration was more of that. I think he was just felt stupid a little bit and felt like he couldn't control the situation, and people were giving him that job to control everything, and you know, it just kind of didn't work. So that's kind of what I believe, you know, the situation came for. He constantly, everything Bonnie does, he'll try to, you know, make her take it down or make her do this, and we just ignore him. You know, he just keeps threatening, and like I said, honey, we don't walk in fear. God has us covered in his grace. So, you know, we really don't walk in fear like that. So everyone got gang member families. Everyone got somebody. Everyone comes from places, you know. No one's excluded. Anyone could get it in this life, right? So you got to know that in life, right? Before you make threats. And I'm not saying we're anything special or he's anything special. I'm just saying, like, you never know who people know, right? I feel like leaking the address was very, very low. I did not expect that. I was like, oh my God, he's so pissed. Like, for him to do that, like, you know, Blue's team, they usually have a united force and they can keep a cool head on. But I think that spoke volumes when he did that. That's complete, like I said, shambles. That's like you lost your cool. You know, it even came down on him very hard. But, you know, the address that he leaked was like 10 addresses ago. And I know the family that lives there got harassed and a bunch of stuff, and they filed charges. So unfortunately, he has to eat that, and he has to, you know, make his bed for the choices he made. So with that being said, I hope that simmers down. I hope everyone can move forward with that situation. There was some pretty low blows and some weird shit going on, but you know, I understand his gimmicks and what he's trying to do, and I understand the position he was put in when Blue went to jail. Like, I get that, you know, it, like we talked about, kind of, it's really hard to like break the circus and to get in it, and a lot of people have tried. You know, they've brought in Jiggy in, they brought in a couple people here and there, but the hate's just like bad. They back out, you know. So it's not easy, like I said, and you have all these, you know, gang affiliated men and stuff against you, and it's really not easy. It's very intimidating for a weak-minded person, you know. It very much is. So I can see how people would back down and be very scared. And you know, he likes to call me the Mexican bitch, which I'm not Mexican, but he's always like, that Mexican bitch with that braids, she's a psycho.
I guess it's safe to say the only person that really controls the circus is Blueface.
Yeah, I think he's the king of the circus, no doubt. He's the one who created it. He's the one who promotes it. He's the one who just thrives in it, and he does so good at it, you know. I definitely think that we're just members, and you know, some by default, some because they want it to be, some people trying to get in it and don't belong, you know, as we talked about. So it's an interesting dynamic. The dynamic has definitely changed since he went to jail. I think no one expected all this, right? I don't think no one saw Bonnie's ass coming out of nowhere, and there's been some randoms. I know we've had like that girl who knew Bonnie, remember, Kayla, something like that, come out the woodwork. So it's been interesting just to see, but you know, it's the organization. There was a glitch, right? So like I said, with him being taken out and going to jail, not being able to work it all, there was an open opportunity, you know, now for people to come at them, you know, Island Boys did all this stuff, NLE Chopper trying to create all these beefs. Like, it's fair game now because they can't really protect him, and he can't protect himself. And I'm not saying from a physical standpoint, I'm just saying running the circus, right? So I think people, as long as a lot of people see that opportunity, I predict a lot more people coming for him, coming for a spot, trying to get in the circus. Because it's like people are now starting to see that it can be broken and you can infiltrate it, and it's not that hard. And you know, if you got a solid team behind you, you don't give up. Like it's very much possible. But I don't think it's an
Yeah,
opportunity,
like you
right?
mentioned before,
Mm-hmm.
the circus is fair game, I guess, at this point. Blueface is where he is, so perhaps maybe not much that can be controlled, or maybe there is, but we are seeing different acts pop up here and there. Now, the interview has been going on for quite some time, and although there are so many questions, we do have to wrap it up.
Oh my God, we're
Um,
already done?
is there any final words that you may have? I may take a couple more questions if we can keep it
Yes.
a bit short on answering it,
Yes.
but I want to make sure, is there any final words that you had, or perhaps upcoming projects or circus acts that you may want to let us know about?
I'm the I'm just kidding. Yes, I'm so proud of my team. I'm so honored to be, you know, in this journey, and I thank you guys so much for the support. You guys are wonderful. We have so many like great fans and great supporters, and even the ones that drag us and stuff. Like I said, I don't take it personally. I understand the marketing behind it, but I'm just proud of Bonnie. She has good stuff coming up. You guys, we just got a deal for her to do her own reality show, so that's pretty exciting. She's working with some big features right now, and some big producers, and so she's headed in the right direction. We're really proud of her. She's making good money right now, and I just want to say for you guys to stay tuned, to follow the real Bonnie Lashay on all platforms, to follow Jessica Westside Stories on all platforms too, and we got a lot of good juicy stuff coming for you. Bluerock, I do want Bonnie to do an interview with you coming soon, and we'll have to plan that out, but I think this was a great first introduction and first start for everything, for sure.
Awesome, sounds good. So let's go back into the questions here from some of the viewers. One from yours truly, 222. What happened to Bonnie showing her tattoo of Blueface?
Bonnie has a big deal coming up right now for her Blueface tattoo. So we're in the works of that right now. So as soon as that money and those contracts are solidified, honey, we will be showing them.
All right, so the last question we have here is drugs on vacation. How does she feel that, or how does she, I guess, Bonnie, how does
Mhm.
Bonnie feel that Blueface called Chrisean his wife?
I mean, that's a question for Bonnie. That's her personal preference on how she feels about a comment the guy she messes with made, right?
Alrighty, so that's it for today. I think that's all the questions that we're going to take. I just want to thank you again, Jessica, for coming on here live and taking a moment to answer some of the questions that we may have. As you know, I believe the audience is a tad bit disappointed because they were probably hoping to have some receipts. But from some of the answers and some of the things that you said, I guess the receipts are coming. We just have to give it the time that it needs. And I think everybody appreciates that. We appreciate you coming here.
But I think you guys should stay tuned because I've been hearing some crazy stuff coming out too. So just keep your eyes open. There's a lot of stuff going on in the circus. So I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised for sure.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks again for jumping on, and thanks to all viewers who are joined here on the live. And we appreciate you guys being here. We appreciate all the questions. And until next time, take care.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Bluerock. You're wonderful.